Hey guys, what is going on? This is Wrestlelamia, back with another episode. Tony Khan has a big announcement on tonight's Dynamite, but there's plenty more planned as AEW deals with the fallout from its Double or Nothing pay-per-view. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at the 31st May edition of AEW Dynamite, as well as the wildest wrestling news, stories, and rumors you need to know, including CM Punk's return confirmed, is the WWE reviving The Fiend, Alexa Bliss preparing for an in-ring return after she has her baby, is Lana returning to wrestling or retiring, and more. The good. FTR vs Bullet Club Gold should be good. Now that FTR have successfully thrown back the challenge of Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett, it looks like AEW has a primo program planned with Bullet Club Gold. Jay White and Juice Robinson are two terrific talents, but their feud with Ricky Starks has been hit and miss. Putting FTR against Jay and Juice should be dynamite in the ring, and will hopefully show fans why Jay White was so over in Japan. Top-notch tag team action. AEW knows that tag team wrestling can be just as exciting as singles matches, and they reminded fans with 3 top-notch tag matches, each one standing out as different from the rest. There was the traditional tag match involving Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin against the Gates of Agony, a terrific trios match between the House of Black and the Lucha Brothers and Bandito, and a wild mixed tag match between the teams of Chris Jericho and Saraya and Adam Cole and Britt Baker. The Acclaimed are always over. Tonight's segment with The Acclaimed was a well-booked change of pace for fans of Max Caster, Anthony Bowens, and Daddy Ass. The trio discussed their loss to the House of Black, with Billy Gunn apologizing for letting the team down, and his teammates telling him not to worry, as their goal of getting Daddy Ass some championship gold isn't over. This quiet moment was a reminder of just how over the Acclaimed are. Whether they're working a match, making fun of their opponents with a rap, or just talking with each other, the Acclaimed know how to entertain the fans. Swerve earns title shot. Finally, some good news for Swerve Strickland, as he earned an international championship match after defeating Trent Beretta and Big Bill. AEW dropped the ball with Swerve's feud against former tag partner Keith Lee, but a program or title win with Orange Cassidy could get him right back in the spotlight, especially with AEW's Collision show fast approaching. The bad. Mid-pay-per-view follow-up show. While Double or Nothing wasn't a dud, it was a mid-pay-per-view, and sadly, tonight's follow-up show did little to take advantage of what worked at the pay-per-view. Tonight's Dynamite was decent, but a letdown in terms of capitalizing on it being the first show following Double or Nothing. Where's MJF? Congratulations to MJF, who apparently has a similar deal to Roman Reigns, where he rarely wrestles or appears on TV. While this is good for the AEW World Champion, it's disappointing for AEW fans who miss out on arguably AEW's top talent. There's little chance of MJF being overexposed, as fans can't get enough of his trash talking. AEW needs to correct this problem quickly. Chris Statlander vs Nyla Rose, meh. Chris Statlander is TBS champion, a shocking situation in light of her impromptu title match and title win against the previously undefeated Jade Cargill. Now Chris has a big task ahead of her as she tries to follow Jade's epic run as champion. Unfortunately, putting her against Nyla Rose wasn't the best way to do so, as they've fought enough times before. AEW needs to map out Statlander's reign unless it plans on making her a transitional champion. The Downright Ugly. Nothing ugly. While tonight's show faltered, it had some good matches and did forward storylines such as the Elite vs Blackpool Combat Club, the Outcasts' Reign of Terror in AEW, and more. The biggest problem was that none of these segments were strong enough to grab the fans' attention. CM Punk confirmed for AEW return. Topping today's news is the confirmation that CM Punk is returning to AEW and will be at the debut episode of its new Collision TV show on 17th June. AEW President Tony Khan confirmed the rumor that fans have heard for several weeks. Stay tuned, as Wrestlelamia will continue following this latest turn in the CM Punk AEW saga. Bray Wyatt returning as The Fiend? There's a wild rumor making the rounds that not only is Bray Wyatt returning to the WWE, but he'll be doing so as The Fiend. At least that's the report coming from Fight fans, which explained why. WWE wasn't overly fond of how the Pitch Black match went down, and the new Bray Wyatt masked character that debuted at the Royal Rumble, as they felt it wasn't as good as The Fiend and wouldn't sell the merchandise, etc. like The Fiend did. While the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match wasn't warmly received by some fans, it did score the WWE some big bucks thanks to Mountain Dew sponsoring the Blacklight bout. It also helped LA Knight's career, not so much because of his involvement in the match, but the way he made the most of the situation, showing he's a team player. This may be an attempt by WWE to get Wyatt's character back on track. One of the problems with Wyatt is that the WWE moved at a snail's pace in developing and revealing who the new Wyatt was, and what his relation to both his old persona and the mysterious Uncle Howdy character. Bray's lengthy absence due to an unrevealed medical ailment only slowed the pace further. While the WWE Universe seemed okay with this, Mr. McMahon may have decided to speed things up. A Fiend return would be interesting, as Wyatt stated the Fiend character was finished when he made his 2022 return. Another interesting development in the Fiend story is a recent tweet from Jason Baker, the man responsible for creating the Fiend masks. That might be a little difficult considering that all of the mask molds were destroyed last year. Wrestlelamia wouldn't put much stock in Baker's statement, as he could be working the fans. Even if he isn't, he could craft new molds. Bray Wyatt is often at the center of wild rumors. Keep that in mind when it comes to this story. Some fans might argue that the return of the Fiend is hot-shotting. Others may think it's about time. Do you think Wyatt will return as the Fiend? Alexa Bliss already prepared for in-ring return. While Alexa Bliss is currently out on maternity leave, she recently revealed she's already looking ahead to her WWE return. Little Miss Bliss spoke with the Messenger about how she was previously preparing for an in-ring return before she and husband Ryan Cabrera learned she was pregnant. WWE gave me time off for The Masked Singer to kind of fully dive into that experience with rehearsals, vocal lessons, and all that stuff. Storyline-wise, I was not on TV anyway, so it really kind of worked out perfectly. Alexa said there's no rush on the WWE's part for her return, but she's already looking ahead. WWE extended my contract, and so it's just basically come back when I'm ready. Probably a month after the baby. I'll start probably getting back into the gym and getting ready to see what my in-ring return looks like. As to when wrestling's 5 Feet of Fury could return, Wrestling News' Paul Davis speculated, if Bliss returns a month after giving birth, then it means that she could be back in time for the Royal Rumble PLE and in time to be involved in a WrestleMania storyline. Did Undertaker want to work at WrestleMania 39? Is The Undertaker really retired? Fans may be asking this after Taker spoke with The Independent's Oliver Browning about life after retiring from in-ring competition. Let's hear what the Phenom had to say. I've got to the point now where if I'm home, I'm fine. It's when I do show up at a WWE event that I get that I should be getting ready feeling. At WrestleMania 39, I was there and I had my family and friends up in a suite watching the show, and I kind of found myself rocking in my chair like, oh my gosh, I should be down there. So in those instances, it's there. It's still in my heart and it's in my brain. The Undertaker's career began in the 80s before he began his epic 30-year run in WWE, so is it any surprise he's still getting used to being retired? While The Undertaker seems like he's gradually adjusting to the new chapter in his life, he did mention 2 talents he would love to work with if his body was up to the challenge, beginning with Roman Reigns. When we worked at WrestleMania 33, I was on my last legs, and he wasn't nearly the performer that he is now. Next would be Seth Rollins. He's just an incredible in-ring talent, and now he's got this really flamboyant character, which would have really been an interesting contrast between the doom and gloom of The Undertaker and his over-the-top character. Fans know never say never when it comes to wrestlers' retirements. Would you like to see The Undertaker return, or should he stay retired? Is Lana returning to the ring or retiring? Last but not least, is CJ Perry, aka former WWE superstar Lana, returning to the ring? Perry recently shared a video on Instagram along with this message. Wrestling became the love of my life for 8 years. Will it come back to me, or do I let it go forever? Perry's work in WWE is best remembered for her run as Rusev's manager, aka current AEW star Miro. While Perry spent most of her time managing, she did step into the ring on several occasions, including a feud with Nia Jax. Some fans speculated that Perry might head to AEW since her real-life husband Miro works there. That hasn't happened yet, but with talk that Miro will be featured on AEW's new Saturday show Collision, could she reunite with him on TV? Well guys, there you have it, the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, and WrestleLamia's analysis of the 31st May 2023 edition of Dynamite. What did you think of the show? Leave your comments below, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time for some more wrestling content.